Welcome, everybody, to episode 137 of the Geek Dad Report, the one show dedicated, formulated, specially created, into bringing you guys all the nerd news you need to know, all while putting a little smile on your face and hopefully making your week better. Because we don't want it to be worse, we want it to be better.
And let's all agree, this has been one shitty ass week.
Yeah.
And
yes, it has.
We're not going to deep dive into that, but it's been a shitty.
There's been a lot of asshole people doing fuckery bad things this week.
Yes. And as dads,
and you know who you are, so you're going to get the dad finger. I'm dad fingering you right now, which sounds really dirty. You're fucking grounded. You're bad. You know who you are. Go to your room.
Yeah. Go to your room. No
anyway.
Xbox, definitely no TV.
No TV. Dad finger.
Yeah.
That sounds really dirty. The dad finger. You've been dad fingered? Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds like hours of therapy.
Yes, that's a lot of therapy.
But those people who know who I'm talking about, they probably don't listen to our show. But if you do, you're very naughty and you're fuckers.
Yes.
And if you know what we're talking about people with still children. Anyway, moving on. Yeah. I'm Brian West, the hostess.
And I'm Ryan Thomason.
with the mostest, who never fucking stole a child.
Yes. I have, both of my children are very secure.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that.
Fuck. And you know what? We promise this isn't going to be political, but god damn it. If seeing children doesn't like being ripped away from their parents, I don't give a shit how it is, doesn't irritate you, especially as a parent, then I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Yeah, if you can't listen to the audio clip of the kids that have been taken away from their parents and that are crying and hysterical, then you deserve to be punched in the face. I'm just gonna say it.
To get the fuck, you deserve to be dad fingered.
Yeah, you double dad fingered, like
the dad shocker fingers. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
So anyway, we're here that if that irritated you and just made your week shitty as much as it made me and Ryan's, we're here to brighten your fucking week. Put a smile on that goddamn face of yours. Your beautiful face, all you little people and your little noses and smiles.
We won't give you guys the dad finger. We'll give you the dad cheek pinch.
We're gonna give you
you grab like a nice big chunk of the cheek.
We're gonna give you the dad hug of happiness.
Yes, and we'll also give you a dad like there. It's okay.
Yeah. All right, what are we doing now? We're just getting weird.
I don't know. Now we're just comforting.
All right, speaking of dads, how was your Father's Day, Ryan?
My Father's Day was great. I asked my kids to clean their rooms and take care of a bunch of other shit, and they didn't do any of it. And but I did get some really sweet copper mugs, so I can make Moscow mules.
Oh, I thought that's what you used to make meth.
Yes. Well,
I've been watching Breaking Bad, and I swear those were copper.
Yeah. Well, I was not supposed to talk about it, but whatever. And then my kids made me some pictures.
Ooh,
so I could hang them up at work.
Was it of you cooking meth in your copper cups?
And then I watched a lot of sports. I watched the World Cup, and I watched the Mariners beat the Red Sox, so that was good.
That's not what happened.
They beat the Red Sox on Sunday?
No, they lost to the Red Sox.
No, yeah, they lost on Sunday.
Losers.
God damn it. Then they lost 3 to the Yankees in a row.
We're not talking baseball. I'm wearing my Mariners hat, but we're not talking baseball.
Ooh, Mariners.
Stay true to the Trident, but we're not talking Mariners. What are we talking?
We're gonna save that for later. We'll do a whole. Since we do the football season.
We're not doing a baseball season
every week. We're not. You don't want to do baseball at all?
What are we gonna do? So today on the game, nothing happened for 7 innings, and 9 people got hits, and Mariners won 2-1. Congratulations.
How was your Father's Day, Brian?
Well, funny you should mention that. So, well, first of all, Saturday we got to go see The Incredibles 2. As you can tell, I'm very excited about The Incredibles.
Yes, I saw it as well.
It was... You know what, Ryan? I don't think you did see The Incredibles. In fact, Hey everybody, it's time for everyone's favorite game show, Ryan Spoils the Movies. Dun, 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 dun. I really gotta work on a theme song for that.
We're really gonna do that for The Incredibles?
You know what's weird is I swear last week we were gonna do a third question for Deadpool, and then like something got disconnected with our show.
Yes, it was because my thumb moved over to the end call button and I hit it.
That was a dick move, Ryan. But you know what? You're not getting it out of it tonight because I'm asking them before the end of the show, so you can't fucking weasel your way out of this one. Tonight, we're going to be talking...
I worked all day on Saturday because they have me doing overtime. I worked, and then Sunday was Father's Day, and I didn't feel like doing shit.
I literally just fell asleep listening to you talk about your weekend. I just don't care. But what I do care about is everyone's favorite game show. If you're new to the show, Ryan Spoils the Movies. Basically, Ryan, because he doesn't go see very many movies because, I don't know, because he hates fun.
I see movies. I just don't see a lot of them in the theater.
He hates fun and doesn't realize that he's part of a geek podcast where we talk about current events, such as new movies in theaters. And people ask me all the time, Brian, we would love your opinion on these movies. And I'm like, I can't give them. Ryan hasn't seen them. So to publicly shame Ryan into hopefully seeing more movies, we've come up with a wonderful game show where I make Ryan ask me 3 spoiler questions about the movie that I have seen that he has not seen. And if his questions are not good enough, I will spoil major plot points of the movie. So obviously, if you have not seen Incredibles 2, we're going to talk a little bit about it when Ryan asked me 3 wonderful questions. So you've been warned. Anyway, Ryan, it is time.
One of these weeks, the tables will be turned, Brian.
Possibly, but not this week. I need you to ask me. I need you to ask me a question about The Incredibles 2, the movie that shattered all animation records. 180 million opening weekend, biggest animated opening of all time. What is your first question about this blockbuster hit movie?
If I've heard it takes place like literally right where the first one ended, right?
Is that your question?
No, I'm just making sure for my references.
Yes, it takes place literally. It picks up right where the last movie left off.
And they don't know anything about Jack still.
The parents don't, I think.
I want to know, does Jack do any cool new powers?
Yes, Jack in fact has 17 powers, and he uses them all in this movie. Okay. A couple of his powers that you have seen in the trailers. I won't spoil them all for everybody, but he turns into a little demon, he spontaneously combusts, he can teleport, and he has laser eye beams. That's only a few of his powers.
He has 17 total?
Well, I think they said 17 was what they counted so far in the movie. Jack is by far my favorite character in Incredibles 2. And I want a Baby to Stay Out style Jack movie. I think it'd be great.
That would be good.
All right. Stay tuned. We will. Ryan will have 2 more questions they will answer me for everyone's favorite game show. The world. You know what? The internet demands it, Ryan, and they're going to get what they want.
No,
we are a show of the people.
There's one of the podcasts that really likes it, and then there's like your 5 friends.
That is everybody I know on the internet, Ryan. So I'm sorry, they've spoken. Don't weasel out of this. You know what? You need to be better at getting people on your side, like I am. That's on you. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, back to my Father's Day. Before I was so rudely interrupted by movies you haven't seen yet, by your game show that you love to play. So yeah, my Father's Day is pretty good. Saw Incredibles 2. I'm going to kind of give you guys a review about it later, spoilers and recommendations. But we did that, so the weekend started out well. Hung out with some friends, had some cocktails with some fellow fathers. It was going good. And then Sunday we get up. You know, I got some presents. My wife got me a cool cordless drill. Very dad thing to get, you know. My daughter picked me out. I just should have grabbed it. The daddest shirt of all shirts. It's like a button up, right? Like a Hawaiian style. But it's like all Star Wars. It's got like the Death Star and like Darth Vader's face. And it's all over the shirt. It's like the Star Wars pattern. And it's like jean blue.
Nice.
So great. I'm going to wear it on the show one day. And then my other daughter, Addison, she got me a really cool Marvel shirt. And so, you know, my wife got me some of my favorite whiskey. So, I mean, it was a good Father's Day. We went to my father-in-law's house. He got to cook all the food. I didn't even have to cook anything. We had just this feast. And then we got home. Yeah. We got home about 3 o'clock. And I'm like, what do you guys want to do for the rest of Father's Day? And And they're like, let's watch movies. All right, well, I love movies, so I'm like, sure. So we sat down and we started watching movies. First up, we watched the new Tomb Raider movie. Pretty good. If you like Tomb Raider, it's a fun throwaway movie. So there's a little recommendation for you guys. If you want to watch something that's fun and a decent movie, Tomb Raider, the brand new one that's on demand right now, or on Divid. So we watched that, and then when you watch something on demand, a lot of times they recommend like other movies. Or they have like a whole list of things that you might like, kind of like Netflix does.
Yeah.
Because they want you to buy something else. So
yeah,
there was this movie called I Killed Giants, and there was like a poster for it that we saw, and all the girls immediately loved it. It's like this quirky girl. She is like wearing like rabbit ears, and she's standing. The poster's like this. She's standing very small at the bottom of it with this giant electric hammer, ready to fight this giant. And so the poster was really cool, and all the girls were like, hey, what's this about? So we watched the trailer, and the trailer, it's a good trailer. It's cut very well. It's got her battling giants, and it makes it look like the whole movie is this kind of like apocalyptic. Her destroying giants. But I'm watching this, right? And I've watched enough movies and trailers to kind of read between the lines a little bit. And I kind of look at my wife, and I'm like, this movie has a very Bridges of Terabithia feel to it. And for those of you who don't know what that movie is, Disney, as they like to do, occasionally throw a movie at you that seems very, fun and fantasy.
Fun and friendly.
And then they fucking punch you in the heart and usually kill somebody at the end. Like a My Girl type of movie where people die. In Bridges of Terabithia, it's about this magical world of imagination that this girl makes up. And this boy who falls in love with her and goes kind of to her imagination land with her, only to find out at the end she's got this imagination because she's got a brain tumor and she dies, and it's terrible, right? So, needless to say, I'm getting this vibe from this new movie, I Kill Giants, and if you guys don't want to see it, I will say this: I Kill Giants is a very good movie. It's I think it's like 80 or 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it does deserve it. It's well made, it's well acted, and it's very intriguing. But I'm getting to spoilers here, so you've been warned. If you want to watch this and know nothing, skip ahead a couple minutes. So, yes, I was right. This movie is very much a Bridges of Terabithia. The whole movie, it ends with you finding out her mother is dying of some rare disease, and that she's created these giants in her mind so that represent death and her struggle with this whole thing. So that way, she feels that if she can defeat these giants, she can stop death. She can stop her mother from dying. And it's fucking heartbreaking. Like, the whole last 20 minutes of the movie, you're just sobbing. Because when you find out, like, the giants is her representation of her fears and everything else, it also starts going real heavy-handed about life is short and precious, and you have to embrace it for what it is, and that you're strong enough to overcome these things.
And love your family.
And love your family and enjoy the time you have. All great messages and all really good things. But then not only that, like, then her mother does die, and then we have to watch the funeral, and then we have just like, Jesus Christ! I mean, they are just laying it on, and everyone.
Happy Father's Day.
And recently, I know we're talking about on the show a little bit. We lost someone close to us, our daycare provider, who are my children and honestly my entire family was super close to, passed away about 6 months ago, and so the family's still kind of recovering from that. And in some ways, this is a good movie. This is a good movie for them in the aspect of there are some things that can help with that in this movie, but ultimately they all ended up just sobbing uncontrollably, and my whole house was full of people just crying, and I'm just sitting here, I'm like, Happy Father's Day. Everyone's like, and then the kids are like, we miss our digger lady, and it was just like, oh my god.
Was it animated or was it live action?
No, it's live action. And then afterwards, we all have to go up to the rooms and kind of, like, me and the missus are, like, doing grief counseling. And I'm just like, because the movie's over at, like, 8:30. I'm like, this is not what I intended my Father's Day to end,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you need to recuperate.
So, note to self, everybody. So I tell my wife, I look in her face and say, you know what, next Father's Day, goddammit, we are watching nothing but Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't her fault. We all chose it, but, man, it's...
Sometimes you roll the dice, and that's just how they come up. You end up with Just super sad movie.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
kids won't watch anything if someone had told them it's sad or if it looks sad at all. They just won't watch it. Like I can't even
Hang
get
on.
them to watch like so many movies because they're like, no,
Char-
that looks sad.
Ryan, pause. Charlie, what do you want?
Charlie,
Oh my God.
Charlie,
All right,
come here.
Don't
Get in the
don't hit
camera.
these cords. Don't watch out for the cords. Oh my God. All right, my youngest daughter
This is-
apparently wants to make an appearance on the show here. She
I'm
wants to
sure.
show everybody she drew this.
Ooh, is
Look at
that your
that.
dad?
It's me.
Wow.
The
I
likeness
wish.
the likeness is uncanny. Look how buff I am.
Whoa. Hey Charlie, can you do me a favor?
Oh, here,
Can
wanna
you
say
draw
hi?
a
Get your
picture
face in
of-
there.
You need to draw a picture of me, and then you can come down and you can show everybody what I look like on the show.
Okay, so look,
Okay.
Brian, the picture of you is like this. So like your muscles are the opposite way. So like if
Oh,
mine are
okay.
buff and pointing this way, yours are pointing. You're like that way.
Do you want me to draw you as Superman?
No,
No, you
make
can.
Ryan
you can draw
Aquaman.
I meant Batman.
No, make him Aquaman, but like the old school Aquaman with the orange tights.
No, you can make me draw.
Riding a giant tuna fish.
Don't listen to your father.
All right, go upstairs. Go watch your movie. Now you gotta finish this podcast. Superman.
Kids are
Here,
great. Look at that.
take-
That's a great. No, let me see that. That's pretty good. That's better than what I can do.
Yeah, look at that. Look. She wanted a picture of Superman, so I set that up for her, and that's what she drew.
That's pretty good.
Bye,
Ryan.
bye,
That is-
Ryan.
Bye, Charlie.
Bye,
Bye.
Charlie.
Go upstairs. Go. I gotta finish my show. Get out. You got enough screen time. I'm not paying you for that.
Watch, this is gonna be the episode where we get like 10,000 views.
No, it's
And
not. This
everyone's gonna be
episode,
like, "Oh,
we've been terrible. Our
just-
jokes have not
just
funny.
Skip the whole thing. Just
We-
go 10 minutes in.
This will be our least watched video. We started out on political stuff. We talked about sad shit.
Yeah.
We
Well, you know what? Let's get into the news then.
we
Let's,
talked
let's
about getting
start-
dad fingered, which that is study groups, focus
Yeah.
groups have showed that will not play well with an audience.
Yeah, I think we need to get into the actual meat and bones here. If you would like to. Or we can not and just continue the dumpster fire that we started.
I'm just enjoying watching you scrambling for something to say. It's been it's kind of fun.
Well, it's really weird when you stop talking and then I can see that you're holding back all that urge because it's just Brian is really good at taking the lead and just communicating his thoughts, which is something that I'm not as great at. Which is why I haven't done any of my solo episodes, even though I have like 20 ideas for solo reviews. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. Brian, you need to talk now, goddammit. The show needs to go. News. There's news that happened. You're really making me uncomfortable. All of my social anxiety is really around.
You know what? I hope you fucking appreciate me from here on out, Ryan. Talking this much and being this funny and beautiful is hard to do.
I know.
You think I just fucking show up and I'm just like, I'm just gonna be great today? No, it takes practice and hard work and fucking excellence. I have two of those
I know
qualities.
that you practice all day long. That's just what you do.
I
You're-
have one and a
you
half
are-
of those qualities and I maximize it.
You are sharpening that knife.
Whoa,
As
was that
much
a,
as you
is that
can.
a metaphor for something?
Yes.
I do a lot of knife sharpening in my house.
There's a lot of knifing.
Think what you may about it. All right, fuck that. Ninja news time. People, we are just rambling because really there's not a lot of news tonight, and we got to fill like an hour's worth of time. I mean, we could have just made a shorter show, but fuck that.
Yes.
We don't want you guys getting conditioned to less of us. That's just terrible.
Yeah. If you want to get conditioned to less of us, watch episode 1, which was all of like 7 minutes
15.
long or something.
First of all, it was like 5 minutes of news and 10 minutes of us playing with Hulk dolls. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
in retrospect, I'm fairly certain that was our best show. It's all gone downhill from there. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
All right, Ninja News, guys. Time to talk about some shit that happened this week, and so that way you can be smarter than everybody around you.
Because what life if you're not smarter than everybody else around you?
I don't know. I'm only smarter than 7 people around me.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Smarter
I'm
than everyone in my
everybody.
house.
All right, first story up. I was going to talk Star Wars because there's a lot of Star Wars news, but Ryan gets one, like, I'm going to do what I want first card, and he fucking played it tonight because, I don't know, because he's a big whiner.
I used my veto powers of
Why?
to override the Star
Why
Wars.
did I give you that card? That was a mistake.
I only get to use it one time.
Well, one time is too much. We should be talking about Boba Fett and shit. Instead, we got to talk about John Luke Pickard.
This is one of the coupons that you gave me for Christmas. You said
I need that back.
Back rubs. There's the back rub coupon.
Yes.
And then there was
the foot rub. But those were for you to do to me.
No.
Yes.
That's not how coupons work when you give people coupons, Brian.
That's how my coupons work. Honey, for your birthday, here's a coupon book of all the things you can do for me.
Wait, so like all the blowjob and everything
This is a goddamn family show, Ryan. What the fuck is wrong with you, Muffin Man? Get out of here.
Know.
Whatever.
I'm sorry.
Can we talk about the French Englishman, Jean-Luc Picard?
Jean-Luc
Are we going to
Picard,
talk any news tonight? Are we just going to ramble incessantly about weird shit?
Star Trek captain. Well, I don't know. Captain Sisko is pretty good.
Oh, God. Okay. I need to get this. You know what? I let you talk way too much, and this is what happens. The show just...
you know what? This is when you are all talking about your Star Wars stuff and you're deep diving into like,
Ryan is gonna. You know what? I'm taking a break, everybody. I'm taking my 5-minute union break, and Ryan is gonna dazzle you with all the Star Trek news that happened this week. And since he has no news stories loaded in front of him, this ought to be interesting. And Ryan, on 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't have anything.
It's your time to shine, Ryan. I need you to own this. I need you to own this. This is your moment.
We can start with the listener question because that's what I have up this
Ryan,
week.
the scene is Brian and his lovely co-host Ryan are talking about Star Trek news. He just made a funny joke about him being an English Frenchman, and his last name is Picard, but he said Pickard, and the audience laughed. Now you come in with the actual news, all right? That's the scene, all right? Give me in 3, 2, 1, action!
So, Jean-Luc Picard is going to be on the new Star Wars Discovery.
Cut! God damn it, he's not going to be in Star Wars Discovery. He's going to be in Star Trek Discovery. Do you even read the scripts? You are a talentless hack. I can have you replaced with the catering person. What is wrong with you? I'm firing our casting director. Everyone on the set is fired. We're shutting down the studio. The fuck out of here. I'm going to replace you with the toaster. Because at least a toaster that catches on fire would be interesting.
Wait, are you talking about like the little toaster?
The brave little toaster, and we're going to light him on fire, and he's going to run around, and that would be more talent in his little toaster prongs than you have in your entire body. You disgust me. Get off my set.
Let's just acknowledge that the show has a certain formula. And when we try to mix up the formula, it doesn't work. And I will acknowledge that. How about that?
So are we ready to get back? Are we ready to get back to the talent, the superstar?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not saying you're the talent. I'm saying you are part.
You don't need to say anything, Ryan. I've said it for both of us. Yeah, right. This is a partnership, Ryan. I value you like I value this mug of whiskey that I'm drinking.
If you had to do this by yourself, you wouldn't have got to have all that fun commentary. So
I have done this by myself, Ryan. All right, moving on. All right, come on. Let's get to the news. We got to focus. All right, Ryan, let's focus. Bring in your... Suck it in. Here we go. All right, guys. Ryan uses veto. All right, we're getting rid of that joke. Ryan decided we wanted to do Star Trek news first. So here we go, Star Trek. So Alex, last week we reported that, I don't know if we reported it or not, so we're going to report it again. Last week and this week, Alex, I don't know, Kurtzman is now the new showrunner for Star Trek. He's taking over for whoever the fuck was doing it before for Discovery. But part of his deal was he's going to be spearheading a kind of a whole new universe. Star Trek is really looking to launch universes once again into on TV. In fact, I think we talked about it a while ago that they were even looking into possibly doing some TV movies. They're looking to do a lot of new things. So apparently, part of his deal is not only to be the showrunner for Star Trek Discovery, but he's going to be launching 4 new series. Last week, like you mentioned, Jean-Luc Picard, it was rumored that he was going to be appearing on Discovery. We talked a lot about that Star Trek does a lot of time travel, so that's probably how he's going to get introduced. But more news came out with Patrick Stewart this week that he, in fact, might not only will be showing up on Star Trek Discovery, but that he will be the lead on another Star Trek show. So I'm guessing a sequel to Next Generation.
As long as is it going to be all on CBS All Access, because that's going to be really fucking annoying.
Yeah, it will be.
That's the reason why I've not watched Discovery, because I don't feel like paying for CBS All Access.
If they launch 4 new shows, I cannot imagine it's going to all be on CBS Access. But then again, I could be wrong, because Discovery was the highest rated show on CBS All Access, and they may be looking at that saying, you know what? We got to do more of this, right? This is going to keep people interested, keep people subscribed. Because honestly, you could do what I did, subscribe for a month, blow through Discovery, and then cancel your subscription for 11 months, right? So ultimately, it wouldn't make sense in that aspect of, every 3 months giving us a new Star Trek show or something that is interesting that you want to keep CBS All Access for. But, so, question. So what do you think, I mean, we both like Star Trek, but you are the bigger Star Trek fan than I am. So what would you like to see for those 4 shows?
I would like to see one with Worf being a captain.
That'd be cool.
Because I think with how they kind of ended it with Deep Space Nine, I could see Worf as kind of moving into like his own kind of thing. Another one I'd like to see is a completely new series that takes place after, I think Voyager was the newest one. Mm-hmm. So Star Trek, so something after Star Trek Voyager. So recognizing all the previous shows, but then doing a whole new one that's just kind of moving, from the current timeline. And I'd like to see one. I'm done. I don't really care about the prequel stuff anymore. I mean, I kind of want them to just kind of go off, kind of like how they did when they had Deep Space Nine and the Next Generation, because Deep Space Nine was a spin-off of Next Generation at the very end of it. So
you're looking for mostly like kind of spin-offs from Next Generation forward?
Yeah, I want them to move. I want them to move forward. They did all the movies are taking place on Kirk's timeline. Mm-hmm. Every time they've done a new show, it's always a prequel. Because for some reason, they seem to think that like going past Next Generation is going to mess something up. I don't know.
If I had to guess, my guess is they probably didn't know if they were going to make more movies with the Generations crew, and I think when they decided to go back and these new ones have been so much, so popular with being rebooted, I think now it kind of opens up that door again for. Plus, you got to bring everybody back. But that being said, I don't know what everybody's doing with their lives.
Yeah, because the thing is though, like if in the new shows, if they mention a character, I think that person gets royalties.
Oh my God.
Just for having their characters mentioned. That's awesome. I thought I heard that somewhere, or I read that somewhere.
Man, I gotta get one of those
that's why they can't be like, well, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, like, bam, they owe him $1.
Well, one of the rumored shows apparently it could be an animated series. Hopefully, it's Trouble with Tribbles, like just all Tribbles all day long. That would be great.
Tribbles everywhere.
No, I'm with you. I would like to see some kind of after Generations. I mean, clearly, Star Trek Discovery is a prequel. Takes place concurrently. Well, I guess it's not really a prequel, but concurrently with Star Trek, but with the original series. But
yeah.
So we'd love to hear what you guys think. What shows would you like to see Star Trek? Would like to? I was gonna make a boldly go where no show has gone before pun, but I kind of fucked it up. So, what shows would you like to boldly go where no other show has gone before? There we go, nailed it.
Yes.
Second time.
First try.
I'll edit out the first one. You'll never even know it was there. Guaranteed.
Nobody will ever know.
No one will ever know. Let us know what you guys think would be pretty cool, or if you think me and Ryan have all the great ideas and that CBS should hire us immediately and give us one of those sweet, sweet CBS contracts. Something else that's amazing in the works right now, Ryan. I mean, I can barely contain myself. That's coming out. That's going to get made into an actual movie. Guess what it is?
Yes.
Can you have any guesses?
Is it Star Trek?
We just talked Star Trek.
Is it
Okay, do you remember in Ghostbusters?
Jean-Luc Picard?
Do you remember in Ghostbusters when they were like, "Don't cross the streams"?
Yes.
And we keep talking like Star Wars, and you keep saying Star Trek, and you keep like, those are the streams that you don't cross.
Oh, okay.
That's how fucking Zool wins. All right.
Well, I'm kind of more afraid of Vigo. I mean, he was a little more scarier than Zool.
Vigo's an old constipated weirdo. No, Ninja Turtles, Ryan. They are making another Ninja Turtles movie. Yes.
Wait, I thought it was pretty clear that they just went all in on the last one because they assumed that it wasn't going to get anything else.
Ryan, Ninja Turtles is a series that never dies or goes away, and we can make 1 million of those movies.
Is Michael Bay still doing it?
No, he is no longer attached. Which is probably for the best. I've always been a Michael Bay apologist, but even I couldn't handle his...
The Ninja Turtles animated series on Nickelodeon, though, is pretty good. The new one.
All right.
My kids and I really like it.
I haven't watched that one. But I'm going to ask you a question. If I were to say, what property would you want Transformers to cross over with? What would it be? In a comic book form.
In a comic book form.
Let me answer that for you, because I'm sure it'll be the first thing you think of. If Star Trek was on your mind, then you know what? You got it right. IDW is doing a Star Trek versus Transformer crossover comic.
I
probably should have led that with name 2 things that go together well, like pickles and peanut butter.
I think they did a Star Trek Predator crossover already, so
sure,
I guess
why not?
This is just
I guess the Enterprise is going to land on Cybertron, and I'm sure that's what'll happen.
I guess that could be cool.
Coming soon to
nowhere.
Comics You Crave, we'll be talking about that. Speaking of comic that we do crave, the Invincible series from Robert Kirkman on Image. Apparently, he's working... So we announced a while ago that Robert Kirkman signed an overall deal to bring new series to Amazon Television. And the first thing he's going to be doing is he's going to do an Invincible mature-rated cartoon series for the network.
I'll watch that.
Yeah, I will too. Are you kidding me? We saw Castlevania. I don't know what style. I don't know if it's going to be 3D or 2D, but if done right, man, I actually think Invincible would work probably better as a animated series than even as a live-action property.
Yeah, it definitely would lend itself better to animation than would live-action. Just because of all the stuff that they do in the series. So. Well,
it features so predominantly so many superheroes, right? Like doing fantastic things.
Yeah, you know how much that would cost just to have everyone's powers on display. So.
Oh yeah, I know exactly right. I think this would be great. I was really excited when I heard the news. Let's see here. What else we got? What other news do we have? What do you want to talk about? We got all kinds of weird, random shit. Do you want to do random shit or when we talk about big stories?
Let's do the random shit, and then we'll talk about the big shit.
Okay, Lucifer. This is good news for all of us Lucifer fans. If you're a fan of the devil, like I am, I'm just kidding. I'm an atheist. I don't even believe in the devil. But Lucifer has been renewed by Netflix. We weren't sure if it was going to get picked up by anybody. We had talked, I think, last week that Amazon was circling this. Well, apparently Netflix swooped in and said, "Ha-ha, fuck you, the devil's ours." And...
went...
rock out. Anyway, rock out with your Lucifer out. Season 4 is already going into production here in a couple months, so they are not wasting any time with this. They're hitting the ground running. It is going to be a 10-episode season, so apparently they're going to take the entire story arc that they had planned for season 4 at Fox, and they're going to condense it into 10 episodes, which, honestly, I've watched the show from the beginning. The first couple of seasons were shorter seasons. I think the first season was only 10 or 12 episodes to start, and it was a much better. This is a much better form, platform for this. I mean, we've talked at length that shows like The Flash, Arrow, could be considerably condensed down, and they would be better for it. So I'm very excited that it's only going to be 10 episodes. I think we're going to get some really good. I think they'll focus much more on Lucifer and his relationship with Chloe, and I think that will be for the best.
Do you think this is going to set more of a precedent of if you have a decent show that's on network TV that it might get picked up by one of the streaming services?
Yeah, I do. But you know what I think? Here's what I think Lucifer, I think, is, unlike a lot of procedurals, Lucifer is very genre heavy, and it's based on a story about the devil, right? It's based a lot on the Vertigo comics of Lucifer from Sandman from Neil Gaiman, and it does follow that version of Lucifer fairly closely. The stories don't necessarily follow that, so I guess it's my roundabout way of saying this isn't like a CSI that Netflix is saying, sure, let's just bring over because it was canceled. This is a show that I think is going to do really well as a 10-episode series, right? I think it's going to do really well because they're going to be able to focus on those genre elements that Netflix does so well with their binge-worthy shows, right? So I don't know if this is a set of precedents for every show that gets canceled. I think there's a reason why you didn't see Brooklyn Nine-Nine get rescued by Amazon or Netflix. Their series, for the most part, I mean, they do have some series that aren't, one big story, but I think they're still looking for, they want you to binge watch their shows. And procedurals really just aren't good for binge watching.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So that's what makes me excited for Lucifer. When Lucifer really struggled for me is when they expanded it to 22 episodes, because the best parts of that show is when they dive into the mythology of Lucifer and God and all the Christianity archetypes. And when they expanded that to a 22 episode season, it became more of a cop procedural and less of a supernatural genre show, right? So I think by condensing it down, you're going to bring out the elements that make the show really great anyway. So I'm very excited for this. I think it's going to be great. I think Netflix is going to be a great home for it. And hopefully it'll be able to let the show just be a little edgier too, which I think it could use.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. The genre aspect is why a lot of these shows get picked up by the streaming services. Because you made some very valid points, Brian.
Well, I mean, it's because I'm a smart guy, Ryan. I don't know if you've noticed. 137 episodes.
I'm not trying to butter you up or anything. So.
It only took like 7,000 hours of recording with you before you finally realized how talented I am. God.
I think it was a little bit more than 7,000.
Oh, you're gonna make me blush. I'm so nice. I know they picked up most recently they picked up Longmire, and that's not so much a genre, but that was already a show that only had 10 or 11 episodes a season anyway. So
my wife loves that show. So.
Yeah, it's a great Longmire's a good show. If you don't, there's another I got all kinds of recommendations this week for you. Check out Longmire on Netflix. 5 seasons, I think, 6 seasons, all streamable right now. Good show. Let's see what else we got. Some small news. Apollo Creed. We got the Creed 2 poster and trailer. The poster was great, and people seem to really like it. I shared it on Twitter.
I like the Roman numerals and everything. It's very rocky.
It's very rocky. This one is a lot of people were confused. I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler is not directing this one. This one is being directed by Sylvester Stallone with Ryan Coogler as a executive producer. So fingers crossed it's good, but the first one was magic. I don't know why Rocky decided to direct this one.
Because he needs to feel like he's doing something.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Sicario 3 apparently is in the works right now. Sicario 2's Day of the Dead, I think, is slated to hit theaters here real soon. Apparently the studio really thinks it's great because the third one's coming out. I still need to watch the first one.
Yeah.
In an interview earlier this week, Sony Studios was asked, how come you won't do cross-platform play with other people? That was a really bad transition. We were talking about Sicario, and then I immediately jumped into games. So speaking of Day of the Dead and vicious rivalries, Sony was asked recently why they won't play nice with Microsoft or Nintendo in games like Minecraft or Fortnite, where you could easily cross-platform, or games like Destiny, where you could play against other people in other consoles. And they basically said, because we don't want people playing other consoles, you fucker.
Mm-hmm.
And,
which is why I haven't owned a PlayStation ever.
I'm not going to fault a corporation for being greedy because that's what they do. But in a hilarious response, Nintendo Switch and Microsoft are cross-platforming, and they recorded a fun little Minecraft video of them playing together, high-fiving each other.
I haven't seen it yet, but
It's
I
fucking great.
I saw the post just before we went live, so I haven't got a chance to watch it. But I'm going to watch it.
Yes. You know what?
Sounds awesome.
Microsoft has been waiting to do this since Sony just fucking eviscerated them when the Xbox One got released, and everyone found out that you couldn't share games.
Compatibility, yes.
And you couldn't share games. And Sony came out with a video that says, "How do you share games?" And it had the guy handing a game to his friend.
Yeah,
way to go, Sony.
I totally forgot about that.
Microsoft has been waiting to high five Nintendo and basically do this as they fucking Michael Jackson moonwalk out of the screen, and they did.
So they got their chant. And they capitalized on it.
I'm gonna say they stuck that landing. I'm gonna give that one a solid 9.2 out of 10.
Yeah, I miss it when everybody was always arguing about consoles.
Yeah, we actually I think had a question about console wars. Speaking of wars, that we'll address later. Speaking of wars, Nintendo. Well, last week we announced that Comcast offered 20th Century Fox. No, was it Comcast? Yes.
Yes.
Comcast tried to blow up the Disney Fox deal by offering $65 billion all in cash. We talked about the various reasons why that may or may not work. Well, Disney came back and said, "Oh, really? We'll see your $65 million and we'll raise you," and dropped a $71 billion counter offer. Did one of these as they moonwalked back into Disneyland, and Fox immediately said, "Disney, we accept your offer."
Yeah. They did not hesitate. I can't remember if it was stock and cash.
Yeah, it's all the stocks that they already offered, and the additional money is all cash. All the additional part is cash. So it sounds like Fox wants
Rupert, all the guys walking right to the bank.
Yeah, I mean, right. Yeah, sorry, Comcast. Just go home. You're drunk.
Yeah. Go home. You're not going to get The Simpsons. I know you guys really wanted The Simpsons.
This is like that time at the club when you made a good play on a girl and you tried to cut in on a dance, and the girl was kind of impressed with your moves, and you were really just getting it, right?
Yeah.
And then the dude who's like, "Oh, you cut in," ripped off his shirt, did the worm on the floor, spun on his head, and then ordered bottle service for everybody and threw money up in the air. And at that point, you just got to go. And then moonwalked his way out of the fucking bar with his lady on his arm,
just carrying them all.
So Comcast, everybody was on his shoulders as he moonwalked out of the bar, and they all hopped into his stretch limo DeLorean that went back in time, flipping you off all the way, right? Back in time to when Fox originally took their offer. So Comcast, really, there's nothing for you to do at this point other than just gather yourself up and quietly leave. Trying to hop in that fun DeLorean Disney bus right now is just not going to work.
Just do some Axe body spray and just try your best next time.
Just be happy that you still have Harry Potter Land at Universal Studios until AT&T, who now owns Warner Brothers, says "fuck you," and they moonwalk and take Harry Potter Land right out of Universal Studios, flip you off, and moonwalk right back to somewhere else. Now that I think about it, Comcast is really
mergers.
Universal is really banking on these Fast and Furious movies doing well for them. That's about all they got at this point.
Oh, that's why they're going to be Fast and Furious until they're slow and discrepant, I guess.
Yeah. So apparently, speaking of slow and discrepant, DC Michael Bendis has Brian Michael Bendis is now writing for DC. We talked about that a while ago. A lot of people wondered what he was going to be doing. Well, his first project was to write Superman, and apparently he's going to bring the most hated villain of all time into the official DC Universe canon. If you don't know who the most hated Superman villain of all time is, it is Superman 4's Nuclear Man.
So hated that even though I know I have seen that movie, I had to wiki it because my brain
I
remember the image of the guy.
I want to be Nuclear Man for Halloween. I want to wear the mullet wig and a vinyl black and gold costume, and I want my fingernails to grow long that can scratch Superman like a cat. If you don't know who this person is, you deserve. Maybe, Ryan, we should do a Crap or Craptastic Superman 4 Quest for Youth. God.
We got to find a cut.
I have it. I own it.
Oh, you do?
Dude, they had buy all 4 Superman movies on one Blu-ray for $5.
Ooh.
I wasn't going to pass that up.
Yeah, I gotta. I remember the image of Nuclear Man.
FaceTime. I'll put it on my TV, and you can FaceTime with me and watch it.
Okay.
We'll
do that.
Anyway, I have nothing else to say about this other than I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Other than he said a bunch of his friends dared him to do it, and then he said challenge accepted.
What a gangster. Speaking of Superman, apparently Supergirl next season is going to be bringing the Red Sun storyline from the comics to season 4 of Supergirl. Whatever.
I don't know. I stopped watching.
You know what? Here's my thing about Supergirl. My hot take. It's a good show and I like it, but I don't want to see Supergirl reenacting classic Superman stories. Just give me new Supergirl stories that are exciting and fresh. Don't give me all my favorite stories without my favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
Same goes for Arrow.
Interest. I don't know. It's just.
Same goes for Arrow. Don't give me Batman stories with Arrow. Give me Arrow stories with Arrow.
Yeah. You can give me Batman stories with Nightwing, though. I mean.
All right, what else we got? I don't know. The Flash, speaking of CW shows, The Flash promoted Elongated Man to a season regular.
He wasn't really that great.
Ralph Dibny sucked. Oh, Arrow season 7. Oliver Queen wants them to write. Stephen Amell wants them to write season 7 like it's their last season. I think that would probably be smart.
Which is basically him saying, "This is my last season."
It's basically him saying, "Yo, writers, get your shit together. This is gonna be our last season." Yeah, which it should be. Speaking of Creed 2, we talked to Creed 2. They released the first trailer. Check it out. We had it on our Facebook page. I thought it was pretty good. I thought they gave away a lot for our first trailer, but it looks awesome. I'm excited for that.
Yes.
And let's see. I think that's mostly it. Oh, AMC is launching their own subscription service to rival MoviePass. It's going to be $19.99 a month, so it's a little bit more than MoviePass. But you get access to the whole thing is you get 3 movies a week. You can also watch IMAX and 3D, which you cannot do with the MoviePass, which is pretty cool. I also think they give you discounts. So it's like their Stubs program that I already am a member of, which actually is a pretty good program. So $12 a year, you get the Stubs account. So you can upgrade that to the Stubs, whatever they're going to call it. So it's $20 a month. I'm guessing you're going to get probably points like you do on the Stubs, discounts on concessions. And like I said, 3 movies a week that you can also use for primetime movies and IMAX and 3D. So
that's not that bad, honestly. If you go to movies by yourself, I mean.
Yeah, it can get expensive if you're trying to do the whole family. I mean, if you got a family of 4, and that's $80 a month. I don't know if we'll ever watch that many movies, but like you said, if it's just you and.
I mean, it'd be good if you're like, hey, I got a lunch break.
Or if it's you and a friend. If it's you and a friend who like just love going to see movies, I mean, I think it's well worth the cash.
Yeah, if you got someone that you can go with, I mean, if you're a person that goes to a lot of movies solo, then one, I kind of feel bad, but I'm also kind of jealous. But I don't know where I was going with that.
And then we got 3 stories left. We got the Talking Douchebags. We have. A Game of Thrones story, and then we got some Star Wars news. What would you like to cover first?
Let's just get the douchebag out of the way.
So, if you have not heard, if you're a big fan of The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, and all of a sudden you went to watch the after show, Talking Dead, and all of a sudden it says, The Talking Dead will not play tonight. Instead, we're going to do motorcycles with Norman Reedus. And you wondered what happened. Well, apparently what happened is Chris Hardwick is the latest person to get busted for apparently being, allegedly, none of this has been officially proven or no charges or anything have been brought against him, but Chris Hardwick has been outed as being a complete and utter douchebag. So if you're not following the story, we're not going to get too much into it. You can check it all online. I'm not going to read the letter verbatim, but basically one of his ex-girlfriends came out in a very, she didn't name him she didn't name him, but she named him, and basically saying that he'd been a jerk their whole entire relationship, very abusive, physically, emotionally, and when they broke up after 3 years of her, just of him not being a nice guy,
shit, basically.
When they finally did break up, apparently he did everything possible to get her blacklisted in Hollywood and not get her hireable. Which, you know what, all those things. I can
understand, like if you break up with a shitty person, but there's no need to try to ruin anything that they could possibly do in the future.
Well, and that's the hard part, right? So, I mean, here's the thing. So, I know a lot of people like to say, we want all the facts, and we definitely don't want to condemn somebody before all the facts do come out. This does sound really bad, and I also find it kind of funny that literally nobody has come to his defense. Like, there was people who came to Henry Weinstein's defense. Nobody has come to Chris Hardwick's defense.
Not even his best friend since they were like 16 years old has come out in his defense, and that's Will Wheaton.
Yeah, nobody, not even Will Wheaton. And I mean, it that looks bad, honestly, and it's kind of telling. But
don't be a dick.
But even here's the thing: hard. Even if all these things are he said, she said in this relationship, the fact that he, after the fact, tried to get her blacklisted, and people are saying they do actually have proof of that. I mean, this is fucking terrible. You're just a dick, man. That is a dick move from a person who apparently is a dick.
I stopped watching all his after shows and I don't really listen to. I mean, I was subscribed to his podcast, but I would always just delete like every new episode without even listening to it. I mean, it just gave me a reason to finally decide I didn't want to listen to him anymore. It's pretty bad. I mean, honestly, I think it's very telling that AMC immediately pulled everything. No one has given him the benefit of the doubt, and no one's come to his defense. I definitely think they should. You should always believe the woman.
Well, it's not that you should always believe the woman. You should always give what they. And I don't want to say woman. You should always listen to the victims and give them the benefit of the doubt of whatever it is they say. Right. So, male, female, doesn't matter. If somebody comes out and they said they've been the victim of abuse, we should always take that very seriously. Now, unfortunately for Chris Hardwick, he works in a public domain and he's built an image of being this nice guy who wants to do all these great things for people. If that's your image, he's not going to jail. No one's being arrested, so it's not like he's, it's not like find him, waiting to find it. All facts are out. Unfortunately for him, he's been judged in the court of opinion, and nobody's coming to his defense, which, like I said earlier, is very telling, I think, in these things. But whatever.
I've seen some stuff from like Nerdist employees that are like, "Yeah, he's a dick."
Yeah,
like, he's an ass.
I think it's telling my wife, who doesn't really watch or listen to Chris Hardwick, she's like, "Yeah, I always got that feeling. That seems about right with that guy, right?" So whatever. Anyway, if you have been watching AMC and wonder where the hell Chris Hardwick went. Like his career, apparently, it went right down the dirty dick hole. See you later, dude.
Where are we going to find a nerdy white guy that likes to talk and be able to have the time to do shows?
I'll do it. AMC, I will do it for half of what you were paying Chris Hardwick. I will do it for a third of what you're paying Chris Hardwick. And for that money, you get two of us. I'll even bring this guy. I don't know where
really?
One over there. And neither one of us will like abuse people or be assholes. We'll be like super nice and just happy to be there.
Because our wives would just punch us in the face if we even like.
My wife has punched me in the face, and I probably deserved it.
Yes.
I didn't. Help me.
My wife.
Help me! It's a cry for help.
Yeah, I get slapped on the butt a lot, but that's about it.
Hey, I only do that because I love you, Ryan. All right, moving on. Game of Thrones. We'll do Game of Thrones. Look at that. Shocker, Ryan. We said we didn't have a lot to talk about, and we're almost an hour in. Booyah.
Yeah.
It's because that's what we do. All right, we'll make this quick. Game of Thrones.
No point getting a lot of sleep before work.
No sleep. If it makes you feel anything, I'm going to be up till like midnight loading these shows up. What was I going to say? Game of Thrones. We were going to talk last week.
No.
We forgot to talk about it last week, but we did want to touch base on it. So Game of Thrones, apparently, we talked about a long time ago that they had 5 shows, 5 prequels in the works. Well, apparently the first one has come up. They've presented it, and HBO has greenlit a pilot. Doesn't mean it's going to series, but it means like they like it enough that they're going to shoot a pilot. And if they like that pilot, then it'll go to series. So apparently they're going to do. It's going to take place 1,000 years before the Game of Thrones current series, and it will be about the lead up to the long winter and Bran the Builder and building the wall, the Night Walkers.
So what are the people writing this? It's George R. R. Martin.
Yes, this was the show that he was working with.
Yeah, so this was his show. You know, instead of finishing the next fucking book.
He is we've talked about this. The Winds of Winter is never coming out. And if it does, the last one is never coming out. Ever. The last book is going to say, watch the final season. So, we could talk an hour about how mad you are about that. I eventually will be mad when I finally get caught up on the books and give them back to Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. You got like my first 4 books.
You got to come to Seattle to get them. Woo!
But, I mean, I like the idea that they're going to do the Bran the Builder. That's going to bring in, like, the original White Walkers, and there's going to be a lot of the children.
What's cool is we know Bran the Builder built the wall, but we don't know everything that happened with it, right? So it's so far in the past that you can still have who's going to die, who's going to live. There's a lot of story that we just don't know yet, right?
Yeah, how the wall's, like, you know, magical and stuff like that. How's it
magical? So, we know how the White Walkers were kind of created, but there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of story there that you can really... You can give us that Game of Thrones style without, you know, in a prequel without us already knowing everything, right?
And plus, everybody only cares about the Starks anyways. And this is before, like, they started doing, I think, this is before they started doing battles with, like, the Lannisters.
Yeah,
and all.
The Starks will be the predominant family.
I think we're going to get less of, like, the Game of Thrones, like, you know, who hates who and stuff like that. And they're probably just... If they're just focusing on the Starks and building the wall and, like, the main bad guys that are White Walkers and stuff like that.
Oh, so you mean just like the show is right now?
Oh, wait.
So there are still... I don't care. I'm really excited. More Game of Thrones is always a good thing. I'm just excited they're going far enough back that we're not going to cross paths with characters that we currently had. Except for we could technically have a little Bran. Yeah. In the past and the future. That'll probably be the connective tissue that they use to link the 2 shows. They are still currently, they have not abandoned all the other ones. They have apparently given up on one of the shows, but there are still 4 shows actively in development right now. 4 prequels for Game of Thrones. So I still think they really want to do the Fall of Valerian. I think that's another series that could be a great... Yes. I think if we could get Bran the Builder and the Fall of Valerian, that's all I need, and I'm happy.
Yeah, but the Fall of Valerian, like, I mean, everybody had dragons. There was, like, shit piles of dragons. Do you know how much
HBO's got a lot of money. They're just gonna have to figure it out because that's what I want to see. All right, and then finally, well, before we get to that, let us know in the comments. I don't know why I say this. Nobody ever comments about this shit. Let us know in the comments below what HBO Game of Thrones show you'd like to see, or don't comment at all and say, in fact, talk about Ryan getting dad fingered, which is what all you guys talk about anyway. Which I mean, you know, I'm not judging. I do love the comments, but I'm kind of judging. Like a little bit.
Dad fingers.
All right. And then finally, we got a shit ton of Star Wars news, so I'll try and blow through the stuff that doesn't matter, and then we'll talk for a minute about this dumb shits that, well, they don't matter either, but we're going to talk about them. First up, apparently the live-action Star Wars TV series is actually getting really close to being start filming. Apparently they're starting production on the sets and everything else, so we may be getting this... Well, I'm not going to say we're going to get the live-action show sooner than we thought. Rumors are that Disney is going to launch their streaming service later this year or early next year. A lot of it depends on when they can get this Fox thing finished, and then we'll get that live action. I'm guessing the live action Jon Favreau show is going to launch with the streaming service, so that is going to start shooting here real soon.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, non-Star Wars news, one story I did gloss over, by the way. Dark Horse has announced we're getting a Stranger Things comic book. We will be reviewing it on the show.
I forgot about that.
Garen fucking Teed. It is going to be about Will's time in the Upside Down in the first season, which I think is genius. We didn't know about it. I want to read about it, and we're going to fucking talk about it when we get that. Ryan, Make sure you get that. Oh, another story that we didn't mention is that John Bernthal is coming back to Walking Dead.
I won't even watch it. I'll just wait until everybody tells me what he did.
All right, so I'm going to give you three.
He comes back as the Punisher and just starts shooting everyone.
I really like that idea, but I got three other ideas, and I want you to pick which one's the most likely. One, we're going to see Shane in flashbacks. Two, Rick is going to go mad and start seeing like a ghost Shane. Or three, Rick just completely goes mad and Shane just starts appearing to taunt him as he inevitably goes to his death in episode 6 of season 9.
How is that different than Ghost Shane 2?
Because Ghost Shane is just he randomly sees Ghost Shane. 3 is he goes completely mad as he's dying.
Oh.
Or I guess okay, so I guess you're right. So we'll say Ghost Shane as he's inevitably going to die spirals. Or 3, he starts out with the first episode where he's already dying and Shane is like talking to him as he's embraces the sweet death.
I want to see Shane crawling out from his grave.
So, like, basically Shane is helping him into the afterlife. So they're going to go Lost here. So they either go Lost with Shane.
As long as he, like, rubs his head a couple times.
I'm going to say Shane. I'm going to say Rick goes mad and he starts seeing Shane.
And starts having, like, regret about shit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And Shane can be like, you fucked up, Rick.
Or option 4, nobody really cares.
You killed my boy, Rick.
You couldn't protect him, Rick. All right, moving on. Apparently, big rumor news is that Billy D. Williams is going to appear in episode 9. Apparently, this is going to happen because they want to have legacy characters in every movie. And since, unfortunately, Carrie Fisher has passed, they cannot have her return as Princess Leia. So instead, they're going to tap Lando Calrissian and bring him back.
Does he still wear a cloak?
That's Fuck yeah. If you watch Solo, you know that, Ryan, you dick.
I did watch Solo.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Ha! You're the worst. All right. Well, see, I have two stories here. One is that Boba Fett will not start production until 2020 because of the Obi-Wan movie. And then the new news that broke today that Lucasfilm has fucking sidelined all Star Wars spin-off movies for the inevitable future. Apparently would negate the news of Obi-Wan or the Boba Fett movie not starting production until 2020.
Well, I guess this is what happens when fandom gets overridden with a bunch of dickheads.
So we're gonna have two stories called "Yeah, that makes sense," and two stories called "God damn it, I hate whiny baby Star Wars fans."
Yeah. They should just make one Star Wars movie that's just full of white people. There's no aliens, and there's nothing else.
They did. It's called Battlestar Galactica, and it sucked. You want to watch all white dudes flying around in space? There's
women.
Boning each other.
Women. It's gotta be all just white males. Star Wars.
I can't handle it. Listen. If you didn't like The Last Jedi, that's fine. We've talked about this last week. I don't want to keep beating a fucking drum on a dead horse over this shit. That's fine. If you don't want to go to see Solo, that's also fine. But for the love of fucking God, all these people constantly complaining. Right now, there's a group claiming they have raised $15 million and they are willing to cover all the costs to reshoot The Last Jedi and save the Star Wars franchise. Fucking get over it. The Last Jedi, I feel, we both feel The Last Jedi is a fine movie. And even if you didn't like it, it's fine. Just move on. I didn't like Attack of the Clones. I think Attack of the Clones is a travesty and a terrible movie. But guess what? I just moved past it. And there's people who love Attack of the Clones. I've talked to people who Attack of the Clones is literally their favorite movie. Our good friend of the show, Alan, I'm pretty sure that he's a diehard Star Wars fan. He has his own Star Wars podcast, Idiots Array. You guys should totally check it out. Great Star Wars podcast. And I'm pretty sure that Attack of the Clones is one of his favorite Star Wars movies. I would disagree with him every day. I think not only is Attack of the Clones one of the worst Star Wars movies ever made, it's one of the worst movies ever made. But guess what? That's fine. I didn't try and start a Kickstarter to reshoot it. I just said, I've seen better. And then Revenge of the Sith came out, which I feel is infinitely better. I just went and saw it, and I thought to myself, wow, I love Star Wars. I'm glad I have movies to watch. Why is that so goddamn hard for all you fucking millennials to get through your heads?
Because this is the new world that we live in, Brian. Everybody, if it's not how they wanted it to be, then you not only done something horrible to them, but you destroyed everything that is their lives. Because you didn't give them what they wanted.
Floating Leia, a little weird, right? Everybody wanted Luke Skywalker to just be super badass and ninja flip around. But you know what? In retrospect, shit wouldn't have worked. Would not have worked. It worked much better the way they did it.
Yeah, he ninja badass and kicked everyone's ass.
And there is nothing more... What do the Jedi talk about? Non-violence, right? Non-violence. There is nothing more badass Jedi than projecting yourself across a fucking universe, fighting everybody, holding off an entire army without physically touching anybody, and still talking shit, brushing your shoulder off and saying, I'll see you around, punk. And everybody escapes. That is like literally the most Jedi shit you can do. Yoda was sitting somewhere in the afterlife going, fuck yeah, he finally got it. Woo!
Yeah.
Rian Johnson, I love you. You're great at your job. Don't listen to people who hate you. And Looper's a great movie too. I love Looper.
They don't listen to it. It just comes down to the budget, and if they're going to be able to make the money.
So I mean, whatever. Because there's been so much people. Listen, I totally acknowledge that there's a lot of divisiveness in Star Wars, and Disney definitely needs to take a look at shit and try and figure it out. Because I mean, Star Wars movies are supposed to be about just fun and excitement. And right now, the fan base is very divided. Regardless of how many of them are just whining about stuff, there still is a lot of people who are upset, and Disney does need to take time to figure out why, and hopefully come up with something that just, I don't know. You know what? Fuck it. I don't even care. I love everything they've done. I think Disney's been doing great. Whatever. Yeah. I do think that there's some things they can fix, like, for instance, maybe not hire so many directors that you have to fire and balloon a budget of Solo to like $500 million, where no matter how well you do, you're not going to make your money back. Fix that stuff. But anyway, because of what's going on right now, Lucasfilms has decided to stop any Solo movies from being made. So we're not getting, and I don't mean Han Solo, I mean like Star Wars stories. We're not getting a Darth Vader movie. We're not getting an Obi-Wan movie. We're not getting a Boba Fett movie. They're going to focus only on the episode movies, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the Rian Johnson trilogy, and whatever the guys from Game of Thrones are making. So for those of you who are real mad that wanted Rian Johnson out, too bad. He's still going to be making these movies.
And I think I saw something that said Disney's only going to be using established directors now.
Yeah, that was so under the two news stories of that makes sense, is given all the problems they've had, until they can really get on their feet and get this thing churning like they do with Marvel, they're going to be using people like Ron Howard, guys who are hopefully they'll get some female directors in there. I'd love to see like a Patty Jenkins or somebody direct one, but they want to use guys like Ron Howard or gals who have proven that, like, hey, we're on pace with, we're on the same page with you and your vision. We can hit the deadlines. We can get these movies out under budget, and that makes sense considering how many directors they fired already. Probably better to rein it in. And the other thing that kind of like makes sense, but it's interesting to actually hear, is apparently Lucas wanted to push Solo to December, and Disney said nope, you're making your May release. Apparently they're pushing back a little bit with Disney. They're not really happy, and I can't really say I blame them. They're not happy with so many people being fired, so many of these budgets being blown out of proportions with the reshoots to fix these movies, that they're like, listen, we want you to make a movie. We want you to do it for this much money, and we want it to come out this day. Quit pushing them back. Quit asking for more money. Figure it out, right? So I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. I think this is going to force Lucas. It does suck for creativity, because when Disney gives you a blank check and says do whatever you want to, you can do whatever you want to. But clearly this is Disney saying, listen, hopefully once they get things on track and they're churning them out like they are Marvel movies, and it's a well-oiled Star Wars machine that just constantly makes everybody happy and making lots of money. Until then, they are reeling it back in, and they are going to say, like, guys, no, we need this to be like Marvel. Figure it out.
We just take a breather. and get everything figured out, and then get back to running.
Yeah, so for the love of God, people, don't take this as like, yes, they're listening to us. They're not listening to you. They are not changing episode 9. Like, just fucking calm the fuck down.
You're not winning the war that you think that your battle that you're fighting.
There shouldn't be a fucking war. It's Star Wars. We love Star Wars. Just calm down. If you didn't like The Last Jedi, that's totally fine. You probably own it on Blu-ray. Just don't watch it as much as you watch all the other ones. And just wait for the next one. Just wait. Wait, what happens if episode 9 comes out and it makes everything in episode 8 even better? And it all makes sense and you're like, this is amazing. I got the complete picture now and it all works. Calm down.
I'm going to rethink all my life choices and maybe try and become a better person.
That probably won't happen.
I really hope that happens.
That's not going to be what happens. All right. Weird, Ryan. We ran a little long in the news. Shocker. I think it was actually the news. I don't think it was the news. I think it was the weird, like, just random places that we did a lot of rambling tonight.
Yes.
All right. Well, you know what? We don't have a lot of questions, so let's get to it. Let's see if we can end the show in the next 6 minutes.
6 minutes?
Let's do it.
That's what my wife told me.
Yeah, 6 minutes. Wow. What's up?
Jeff, again, we want to say thank you to everybody for responding for our questions. Jeff, he says he remembers after Man of Steel came out, a lot of people were bashing the casualty count.
Idiots. Saying
that they were all the destruction that they caused. Around 100,000 people probably died. Where is that uproar for Infinity War?
Well, Jeff, because like everything...
100,000 people compared to half the universe is...
Well, Jeff, I'm going to tell you, first of all, Jeff hits on a very important fact. That is where the DC Universe went wrong and the fans turned. Is we watched this great movie about Man of Steel and all anybody could talk about was that all the people that died. Did you even watch the movie? It made complete sense why so many people died. Like Superman had literally just gotten his powers and he's trying to basically stop a weapon of mass destruction. Unfortunately, there was casualties.
Mm-hmm. It was just... Zod wasn't going to just nicely fall into a building.
Why did people complain? Well, I will say this, because people love everything Marvel and literally could do no wrong. I mean, they can make Thanos pooping out like Infinity Stone cornflakes, and people will be like, "Genius! Kevin Feige knows exactly what he's doing."
Yeah, I'm so glad this is canon.
And people could just. I mean, you could put out, Zack Snyder could have put out the perfect Superman movie, which he almost did, and people would have been like, it's not the Dark Knight. It's crap. Yeah. It's garbage. It's not Marvel.
Superman doesn't kill people.
Yes, he does. Read the fucking comic books.
Captain America's all fucking wasting people.
God, Iron Man kills people. Like, did you watch Iron Man 1? Literally murdered, like, 500 people.
Yeah.
Like,
all
it's
the
just...
Marvel movies. Who hasn't killed somebody? That's what I want to know.
What it boils down to is Zack Snyder gave us a different take on Superman. In my opinion, a very good take on Superman, a very human take on Superman. And people just immediately rejected it because here's the problem. You know what the problem is with fandom right now? And I don't want to go on a tangent, but here's the problem with fandom. Is people are nostalgic about things. People loved Christopher Reeves. He was this Boy Scout, and that was their Superman. I grew up with that Superman, and I loved him. And he was a great superhero. I loved watching those movies. But I also love Man of Steel. It gave you a different take on superheroes. But when somebody watches something, if it doesn't make them feel like they felt when they were a kid, the first time they watched it, that's not my Superman. That's not my Star Wars. That's not my Batman. None of these fucking things are your anything. You're never going to get that nostalgic high ever again. You have to accept that these things are different and judge them for what they are, not how they didn't make you feel, right? And that's the problem. Man of Steel, yes, it had some of its problems. If you want to talk, you want to have a whole podcast about what I didn't like about Man of Steel, I can tell you. But ultimately, it was a really good movie, and it gave us a different take on a classic character. And I thought it was great. I love Man of Steel. Dude, that whole end where he has to kill Zod is one of the best moments I've ever seen in any superhero movie. You feel it, it feels earned, and it's just fucking great. That is a great movie. Anybody who doesn't like Man of Steel, we can fucking fight about it offline.
The only people that are going to be getting the nostalgic high anymore is going to be the people like us that are doing it, that are watching the movies with their kids, and they're letting their kids experience the things for the first time, and then coming up with their own passions for it. And that people need to give up. Or, I mean, you don't need to give up. They just need to understand that what you had as a kid, the only thing that you can experience it and everything like that, but the best thing that you can do is make sure that it continues by making sure the next generation appreciates it as much as you did.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. I'm going to give it to you like this. So I let my daughters watch Man of Steel because they wanted to watch it and they love the superhero movies. So they watched Man of Steel. And so at the end, I watch it with them. And, I mean, listen, killing Zod is emotional. And Superman, watching a hero kill somebody isn't exactly the easiest thing. So I sat there with them. I watched it. And it didn't really seem to faze them when he died. And I asked them, are you guys okay? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, do you understand why Superman killed him? And both of them looked at me and said, yeah, because he was going to kill all those people if he didn't.
Yeah. Your kids figured it out.
My fucking 8 and 4-year-old time figured it out just fine. I don't know why the whole fucking fandom can't figure it out. Whatever.
God damn.
Anyway, thank you, Jeff. And Jeff, welcome back. I know I say this every time you show up because you kind of pop in and out. Welcome back, buddy.
And we have our next question from Brian Curtis. He wants to know, what are your thoughts on season 1 of Krypton, and what do you want them to do in season 2? I have not watched the last 3 episodes of Krypton.
God almighty, Ryan.
But up to that point, I'm actually enjoying it, even though it's different. I kind of still pissed at Sci-Fi Channel for canceling The Expanse, but I'm glad that it's still going to be around. But
yeah,
I've enjoyed the show.
Yeah, no, it's been really good. I mean, the only thing I have to say is, Ryan, Incredibles 2, ask me a question. Question number 2. Woo! If Ryan spoils the movies, here it comes. You thought I was going to forget. Second question. What do you got for me?
Does Edna come back and do some funny fashion stuff?
Yes and no. She's not in this nearly as much as you would hope she was in it. She does make a comeback, but she spends most of her time with Jack Jack, and it's funny.
Oh, so she's like Jack Jack babysitter now?
Not really, but kind of.
Okay.
All right. So Brian, to answer your question about Krypton, yes, I very much enjoyed it. There was definitely episodes where it's spinning its wheel, trying to establish what kind of show it was going to be. But I thought it ended really well. Mm-hmm. Because Ryan hasn't finished it, I don't want to reveal that giant spoiler. But
doesn't Brainiac take the Kandor? I mean,
we're not going to talk about it. I will just say that Krypton has decided to change Superman lore, and it's fucking great. What I would like to see is, I actually would like to see. I love the characters, but I think there's an opportunity where you can actually bring Kal-El back to Krypton in this show. And I'm not saying I want to bring him in as a main character for multiple seasons, but I would love to see a story arc where they could bring Kal-El back in time to interact with his grandparents. I think it would be awesome for the character. Anybody who knows Superman knows that one of his biggest things is that he's never got a chance to really be around his people. And I think it would be awesome, since they're kind of rewriting the story a little bit, to have Adam Strange find a way to actually bring him back to help. You would get a Clark Kent / Kal-El.
He wouldn't be Superman. He'd just be like, hello,
exactly.
I'm just a man.
You would get a Superman with no powers, but being able to hang out with his biological grandpa who he's never met. And I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So, if not, I would like to continue what they're doing. I'd like to see more of the storylines of how things came to be. More story of how Krypton was destroyed. There's some other stuff I think could happen. Brian, I'm going to talk to you about it offline because Ryan hasn't seen it, but I got some theories about some stuff that happened. But overall, I really like Krypton. If you haven't seen it, I definitely suggest checking it out on Sci-Fi Channel. Thank you for the question.
I'll finish it soon. And then we have the last question on this one is from Chris, Evil Chris, of the Utah Outcast podcast. Yeah. And he wants to know, did you survive the 16-bit console war?
Well, we're doing the show.
I had Nintendo. That was it. I had my Nintendo. My neighbor had the Sega. And if we wanted to play sports games like FIFA, we would go play his Sega. And if we wanted to play everything else, we played on my Nintendo.
I was
It wasn't
poor.
much of a war for me.
So I was poor, so I only ever had one console, so there was never really a war. That's probably why I still, like, to this day, well, I guess I have the Super Nintendo Classic now, but I went one console at a time, and we're doing the show, so clearly we both survived the war.
Yes.
What was your favorite, say, pre-PlayStation console? What was your favorite console?
Super Nintendo.
I'm torn between the Super Nintendo and
Nintendo 64.
64, man. We had GoldenEye. That was the first time when I was in like college and we were drinking all night playing
64
shooters.
also was the first time you had the thumb controller.
Yeah,
and it was kind of funky how they had it, though.
But I think about all the summers I literally played Final Fantasy games on my Super Nintendo.
I don't know. If it wasn't for Final Fantasy 3, that was what got me into.
And Street Fighter? All right, I'm going with you. Super Nintendo. Best console ever.
It's hard because Final Fantasy 3 is like, I even bought like the walkthrough guide thing.
I don't think I've ever played another role-playing game that comes close to Final Fantasy 3. When the world cracks and the story changes and the fucking opera house, are you kidding me?
Yes.
And you gotta choose the fate of the ninja, and you don't even know it's a lock.
And
you don't know if he's gonna...
Shadow? Yeah. Are you gonna wait for Shadow?
Shadow. The ninja Shadow. Yeah. And if you wait, he lives.
5 chances.
If you run away, he dies, but his daughter becomes a ninja. It's so fucking great. It's the first game with consequences.
I know.
That's so good. All right. All right. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for bringing us nostalgia. All right. We gotta blow through these last few. David wants to know. He just had twins. Congratulations, David, by the way, on your twins.
Oh, God. Twins.
Dude. So crazy. He's got like 5 kids now.
Oh my God.
He wants to know best boy-girl twin costumes. Preparing for Halloween.
Definitely do not do Harley Quinn and Joker. That would not be a good idea.
Obviously, he says besides Luke and Leia, of course. Those aren't even really that good at costumes.
I'm trying to think of like a brother-sister combo.
How about Jamie and Cersei Lannister?
You could do...
How about Incredibles? Do the Incredibles, the brother and sister Incredible. Put them both in Incredible costumes.
Yes. One could be Jack.
I don't know, what other good twins are there?
Do different Jack power variation.
Or you could do like Stranger Things. You could do like Mike and 11.
And one can be one of the weird alien things.
How about just Ghostbusters? Make them Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Or
you could do one is like Ripley and one is like a face hugger.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or, I know David likes Dragon Ball Z, so just, you know what, don't put gender assignments and make one of them Goku and one of them Vegeta. When they're little, it doesn't matter.
I think those are all good suggestions.
Or make your own Super Saiyan. Just make it a girl. There you go. Give it pink hair. Give it the Goku black hair. That'd be cool. There you go, David. Do Goku and Goku black with the pink hair. Should be awesome. Ryan doesn't know who that is, so.
I know of Goku.
I don't even know how we're friends. All right, moving on. We're late. We're super late. All right, moving on. David also had another question. If you could win $1 million and had a year to spend it, what would you do?
I'd pay off all my debt, and I would travel a lot.
There you go. That's also my answer. So I'd pay off all my debt and then travel, because when you came back, if you spent all your money, you'd be real pissed because you have to go back to work.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep your job.
And then lastly, Evil Chris from the Utah Outcast would like to know, he's got 2 questions. What the fuck did Tarfer and Chewbacca think when Yoda straight backflipped and lopped the heads off all the stormtroopers in Revenge of the Sith episode 3? They all thought like, we're cool, right? We're good? Yeah. These motherfucking Jedi have lost their motherfucking mind.
Everything's cool, right? We're supposed to just keep standing here.
That's a valid point, because all of us know that Order 66 happened, but none of the Wookiees who were fighting with the stormtroopers and Yoda knew that happened, and Yoda literally just like goes mad and starts killing all the stormtroopers. I think Chewbacca played it right. He was like, I'm with the Jedi.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He just slowly backed his way into the truth.
And then Chris wants to know, if you had a choice between choosing to grow up as Corey Haim or Fred Savage, obviously you can't use what happened with him in life now to...
Yeah.
Which child actor would you be? Man, Fred Savage, not only was it a never-ending story, he got to hook up with Topanga. And that girl, nobody was hotter in the 90s than Topanga.
Yeah, I was going to say Fred Savage, too. I mean...
Corey Haim was just hanging out with Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to go with the Topanga route, too, just because what boy in that age group...
Topanga. That's my answer to all questions from now on, Topanga. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for your questions. If you watch the show and you want to get in on this action, every Thursday, me and Ryan will put up a post, and you can play along. So put up a question. Me and Ryan will answer to the best of our ability, and hopefully make you laugh while we do it. So thanks, everybody, who submitted a question. And finally, before we get out of here, third question, Ryan. Spoils the movies. One more question for Incredible 2. What do you got?
Does Frozone come back?
Yes, and he's fucking better than he was in the first movie. Bigger role and really funny. All right, there you go. Ryan spoils the movie. See, that wasn't so painful, you big baby. All right, and finally, before we get out of here, recommendations. We're going to make them real quick because we have gone real long. So my recommendation, I'll go first this week. Obviously, if you haven't heard me talk about how much I enjoy The Incredibles, Incredibles 2, great movie. If you love the first one, it's more of the same. That's my only criticism. It's basically exactly the same movie, so it's not as good as the first one, but it's pretty close. Great movie. Entire family loved it. Go check out Incredibles 2, playing right now.
I'm going to say, if you're looking for a show to binge watch or to have as a background show, The Shannara Chronicles is fucking terrible.
So don't watch The Shannara Chronicles.
Don't watch it to try and watch it. If anything, have it on in the background while you're doing stuff.
Just don't do it.
And
also, side note, before you say that, is Season 3 was canceled, so you have no reason to even get caught up. You only get 2 seasons.
I mean, Season 2... I mean, they were just doing stuff. I was like, why are you so stupid? I just kept asking that. Like,
dude, the only reason why I watched both seasons is because of what's his name? The guy from Spartacus, who's great. Who played the mage?
Will?
No, the main mage.
Oh, Allergan?
Allergan. I don't even fucking know their names. You know what? Ryan's right. Don't watch it. Shannara Chronicles.
Yeah.
Terrible.
The first season's okay. The second season, everybody's a complete idiot.
They're both terrible. All right. Thanks for that, Ryan. And before we get the fuck out of here, would you like to tell everybody where they can find us?
You can find us on YouTube at the Geek Dad Report, Facebook at the Geek Dad Report, and Twitter at the Geek Dad Report. Brian is BrianWest53 on Twitter, and I am Big Boozer. You can also find us on podhell.com, along with our good friend, the Utah Outcast, who do not, talk about us enough, I think. So, just saying that.
Yeah, we're giving, you know what? Utah Outcast, Felicia, Kyle, Chris, you guys are getting the dad finger. We're dad fingering you right now.
We're going to dad finger you guys. I think I'm going to dad finger Chris really hard.
Oh, Chris will like that.
He makes all the decisions. And plus,
he likes that.
He'll like it.
Consensual dad fingering.
He'll just start whistling.
Probably. I like that finger. It's the greatest thing in the world. Woo-hoo. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody, for another long fucking episode of the goddamn best show on the internet, the Geek Dad Report. Stay awesome, everybody. You guys rule.
Stay nerdy and don't be a dick.
Till next time.
Watch out for dad fingers.
Don't fucking abduct children, you sons of bitches.
Yes.